One night after finishing up my work at the office, I wanted nothing more than to get home and rest. I work in a suburban town with a medium-sized population, but you would swear it didn't exist past 10. It was relatively quiet yet peaceful. I tend to be a little more paranoid walking through the parking lot at night and psych myself out, especially when I haven't gotten sufficient rest. I got to my car and took off to my home about 30 minutes away. In the evening and night, it's a breeze to drive home, with the exception of the eerie-looking roads. It's harmless so long as you have your brights on to avoid any wildlife. I was cruising down the dark long stretches of road when just my luck, a deer jolted in front of my car. I didn't have enough time to stop and hit the deer head on. I assessed my car and saw that it was nearly totaled. I immediately called my tow service, which prior to the accident I have never needed before. The wait time for the truck was estimated to be about an hour or two, to which I was not satisfied about, because I was in the middle of darkness, miles away from both my house and job alone. I felt a little uneasy, so I got back inside my car after the call and relied on my phone to entertain me before the truck arrived. Upon waiting for the truck, I heard the sound of an older vehicle pulling up from the distance. I looked out my window and saw an older truck making a stop a few feet from my car. I heard the door close and saw that someone has gotten out. As I looked in the direction of the person approaching my car, I saw an older-looking man just outside of the driver's side window. He began to ask if I was okay, and said that he was a relief vehicle sent to assist those stranded in remote areas, who may not see a tow truck for several hours. He said he would examine my HUD to assess the damage. I found that strange, but had no room for argument, since I had no good protection for myself. He did not have any uniform with my tow service's information, nor had any form of identification. In addition, his truck looked like a regular pickup truck, and his story didn't add up. I tried to be cordial for the sake of my safety, and told him that I would stay inside and wait for the tow truck. He said he saw fluid leaking everywhere, and that there were pockets of smoke coming up from the engine bay. He then urged me to quickly get out of the car, as it was dangerous, and could potentially catch fire. At this point, I told him that I have just received a text from the tow service that the truck was 3 minutes away. I would have asked him to verify my information to prove that his service was real, but I was afraid that would cause confrontation, which I couldn't afford to start since I was unarmed and alone. I ensured my doors were locked as he made his way back to my driver's side window. As soon as I told him the tow truck was arriving shortly, he looked at me and started walking back to his truck. That confirmed my suspicions, and I knew I dodged a huge bullet. I watched as he took off in his truck back from the direction he came, and wondered what on earth his motive was for trying to lure me out of my car. I watched as time lapsed, hours passing before my truck reached me, fearing that the man would come back. I eventually heard loud sounds of a heavy-duty truck, and I instantly felt relieved. A man wearing Navy uniform with the name of my tow service on it came walking up to my window, and I never felt happier in my life. He verified my personal information, and we talked about the accident that led to the situation. I began to tell him about the man from earlier, expressing how shady the encounter was, and my belief that it was an attempt to lure me out of my car. With a look of concern, he informed me that I made a wise decision, as there have been several recent cases of locals going missing, and were linked to reports of a grey truck tailgating cars off the main road. This left me feeling mortified. We decided to get out of the area as quick as possible and headed to the truck. I spent the rest of the ride absorbing the news about that grey truck and the missing people. I will never shake the what-if thoughts that linger in my mind as a result of that encounter. And just knowing that there is evil lurking in the shadows, waiting to prey on the innocent, makes my blood run cold.